it's Elizabeth Brown, the Kitchen Vixen. Welcome to my cozy little kitchen. And today we're going to continue with our garbanzo bean segments. We're going to be making easy chickpeasy hummus, because hummus is very easy to make, and it's made from garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas. And there are many variations on hummus. It's traditionally made with garbanzo beans, lemon, garlic, maybe salt and pepper, definitely some type of oil, olive oil, or tahini paste, sometimes a combination of both. And I've modified that recipe based on some nutritional analysis I've done with other ingredients. But before we get into the hummus recipe, we're first going to make some healthy homemade corn tortilla chips. Of course, you can buy some, and if you're good with portion control, you could buy regular corn tortilla chips. But I have some corn tortillas, and I'm just going to show you how to easily make your own healthy chips. And it just starts with your corn tortillas, about 6 of them, because that's what will fit on your baking sheet. I'm adding some olive oil, about maybe a 1/4 cup of olive oil. I'm actually adding some sesame seeds to the tortilla chips, because sesame is one of the key ingredients that we're using in our hummus, which adds a ton of nutrition. I mean, you just can't even imagine how much sesame seeds can boost the nutrition of any recipe, especially for calcium, iron, folic acid, magnesium, manganese, zinc, copper, all these things that are essential minerals in your diet, but also either work as potent antioxidants for your own body's defense, or they get incorporated into your own body's antioxidant defense system. So they may be involved in chemical reactions that help make you a stronger individual. So I added some cumin, about a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. I think I had about a 1/4 cup of sesame seeds, whatever I had left basically, because I'm using sesame seeds in the other part of the recipe. And then you use just any type of pastry brush, or if you don't have a brush, you could spoon this on, or you could use a rubber spatula. And then we're just going to lay the tortillas out, and we're going to brush them all with the oil sesame seed combination. So we're just going to brush on one side, a nice light coat. Don't worry about how many sesame seeds you get on or not. And as I said, those sesame seeds are really rich in all those great minerals, plus they provide some protein. So if you do follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, this could be considered a protein source. It adds at least 1 gram or 2 per serving for maybe a teaspoon or 2. And the sesame seeds also provide fiber. And then there's lots of research on the health benefits of the phytonutrients in the sunflower and the sesame seeds. So things that I didn't mention, like that aren't just the minerals, but other things, other components that help protect your body against things like prostate cancer and other types of hormonal cancers. So once we have the oil on one side of the tortillas, we're just going to stack them. And then, so we don't have to brush the other side, we're going to cut them. So we'll cut them in 4s. So we make some nice sized chips for dipping. And because we've stacked them now, the oil from one side will get on the other side of the chips. You don't have to worry about covering both sides, and that way we're not going overboard with the oil. And even though I told you how much oil and stuff I use, I have extra. That way, in case you want to make another batch, you don't have to remeasure everything. Okay, and then we're going to bake these in an oven set at 350 for about 15 minutes. Now, it depends on your oven how quickly it will work, but I find 15 to 17 minutes works great for me, so I don't want to burn them. They will burn quickly, I've learned. So set up for 15 and then check them, and maybe go in 1 or 2 minute increments after that. Okay, and then of course I already have some completed. I need an oven mitt because they are still warm. And when we're done, we've got these nice crispy chips we're going to use for our hummus. Now to make the hummus, it's so simple. I'm going to put something down here to keep the heat. Okay. So for the hummus, we have those garbanzo beans that we made, and I froze them. So these are my thawed garbanzo beans, which means that now that I prepared them and froze them the same day I made them, but I still want to make sure that whatever recipe I make from these frozen chickpeas, I use within 3 days. Okay, so I have about 3 cups of chickpeas. And I did already use some of those chickpeas to make some more of my wonderful garbanzo bean cookies because they're so delicious. To that, we're going to add about another 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, buy my pepper in whole peppercorns and grind it, because pepper, you think about how potent that flavor is, very powerful antioxidants we find in pepper, something you can incorporate into almost any recipe. And then I really love the taste of cumin, again, so I'm going to put it in my hummus. So I used about a 1/4 teaspoon to a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, depends on your taste. Now we're also going to add, of course, one of the, I think, primary ingredients in hummus is garlic. Now, I've made hummus for coworkers, and I've put as much as 4 cloves of garlic in, and, you know, I work with people of very different ethnic diversities, so they said, well, you're not American, are you? I thought that was kind of funny, because they consider most Americans to have very bland palates, and they enjoyed my hummus being very garlicky, which I do like. But for those of you that might not be huge garlic lovers, maybe we'll start with 2 cloves. And see, if you like it like very garlicky, you can add more, but you don't want to offend people. And of course, if you're eating this, you know, it's raw garlic, so make sure that your partner is also enjoying some, because it will linger on your breath for a little while. And because we're going to puree the recipe, you only have to do a pretty good chop, not a fine mince of the garlic. So we add that to our food processor. And of course we want some fresh lemon. Now this is an organic lemon, and one of my segments I talked about looking for the number 9 in the barcode to make sure you're getting organic. And we always wash our fruit and vegetables no matter where they come from. And because there's antioxidants not just inside the lemon but also in the peel, and they're all different. In fact, I was looking at other people's versions of hummus recipes, and one recipe I found by a really great website, and I can't recall the name of it, but they did hummus and they recommended peeling the chickpeas, which is like very time consuming. And it also strips you of some antioxidants that you don't receive in any other part of the bean. So I really don't recommend that, only because my goal is to increase the nutrition of all recipes. So I want you to get the most nutritious bang for your buck. And because of that, I'm also going to add some minced lemon peel. So you just cut the outside of the peel just a little bit to add some extra lemon flavor. Unlike some cooking people who like to just squeeze a lemon over top and think they're going to catch all the seeds, I'm not that great. I find that I would prefer to juice the lemon in a juicer, which gives you a nice workout for your arms and catches all those extra seeds, and I think helps you extract the most juice per lemon. So let's not waste any of those great antioxidants. Let's get them all incorporated. And in fact, I'd even like to maybe cut out some of the extra meat of the lemon, just so we get as much as possible. So we're eating these foods to get those wonderful protective antioxidant nutrients that will help us keep going in life and reach our goals. This is my goal, to have a cooking show. I've been working towards it for, I don't even want to tell you how long, but I'm not giving up. I'm just going to keep teaching. So we'll put the lemon in the mix and maybe cut off some of the meat from the lemon. Don't get the seeds. We don't want those. Those are bitter. There might be some nutrition in that as well. I haven't explored that area, but in the meantime, I don't think they're going to add a lot of great flavor. So a little bit of meat from the lemon as well. And what else do we have? Oh, and then our sesame seeds. So traditional hummus would normally call for a 1/4 cup each, usually of tahini, which is sesame seed paste, and a 1/4 cup of olive oil, which is great. Olive oil has a lot of health benefits, but it also is fat. And it's omega-9 fats primarily, which have benefits. But we're always looking to increase our intake of omega-3s. Not that we're going to get that from this recipe, though. We can if we add flaxseed or chia seeds, which might be another option. But I don't really feel like adding fats that I don't feel like contribute to the anti-inflammatory pathways. And that's what omega-3s do. So we get other benefits from this recipe, though. And where is the lid? Okay, so we're going to put the lid on the food processor. And because I didn't add any oil or anything, we're going to add some water gradually until we get a nice smooth consistency. So maybe about a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of water we're adding. And then we're going to stop and scrape the bowl. Because remember, we're putting those sesame seeds in whole, so we want to make sure that they get incorporated and ground up. So we're getting all the benefits that we would get from a traditional hummus that's made with tahini. But when I did the analysis for equal calories, using a 1/2 cup of sesame seeds versus a 1/4 cup of tahini, They give you the same amount of calories, but the sesame seeds give you more calcium. I don't know why it would change in the processing, but for some reason, the whole sesame seeds give more calcium, more copper, which is a really powerful antioxidant. It's part of your own antioxidant defense system called superoxide dismutase. So we want copper in our diet. We want to make sure that's adequate. Let's finish this off. Okay. And I was even reading a study that said that Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, which is a really tragic disease. I work in long-term care rehab hospitals as a consultant, and I see a lot of the people at the end of life, and it's very sad sometimes to see that. And I have a friend who lost her husband to ALS, but there is an association possibly between ALS and your superoxide dismutase enzymes. And since copper is involved in making adequate superoxide dismutase, which is a powerful antioxidant, perhaps getting enough copper in your diet will maybe prevent those types of diseases. We're not sure, but there is some research around that. So aside from the great tortilla chips that I made, which are very tasty and crispy, that's a great way to enjoy your hummus. It's very good, very lemony. It's still extra calories. One serving of the tortilla chips would be about 2 tortillas, so about 8 chips, and that adds about 110 calories, I believe. But if we add the carrots, we're probably only adding about 30 calories, depending on how many you eat. Plus, you get all these great carotenoids, or you could also cut up some wonderful red peppers. Remember to get the organic. Peppers are one of those things that you want to buy organic, so look for the number 9 in the barcode. And by adding these wonderful carotenoid-rich vegetables with your hummus, the hummus, because it does have fat in it, increases the absorption of the carotenoids from your vegetables. So it's a win-win. Tortilla chips taste great. They don't really add a whole lot. But when you eat a half a cup of the hummus, it's about 200 calories and 9 grams of protein, I think 8 grams of fiber, 7 grams of fat, 17 grams of fat in traditional hummus. So you see what the savings we get and all those extra minerals. And I'll post all the nutrition on this recipe. So thank you very much. I'm Elizabeth Brown, the Kitchen Vixen. Don't forget to take your tortilla chips out of the oven at about 15 minutes. And I'll see you next time for another wonderful recipe. You have a great day.